Sorry guys, my Facebook is up. Okay, now you're just getting into based on what the LTM device is going to be choosing the server, which we call it as a load balancing algorithm. So don't simply think that the ADC is capable of doing only load balancing, but this is one of the key components. See, one of the server needs to be chosen for forwarding the request to your the internal server. Based on what this is going to be happening is what we are talking about as load balancing techniques. So there are a couple of methods. See, by default, the system is going to be doing the load balancing as a round robin mechanism. So you know, round robin is one of the popular term. People whomever is playing cricket or football. See, you have some concept, right? What is that round robin mechanism? What is that round robin mechanism? The request is going to be forwarded to one of the server in the list with the lowest IP address, and then it goes to the one, and then it will go to the one. So you have multiple servers. The requests are going to be forwarded to each and every server at a time. So one request will be forwarded to server 1, the second request will be forwarded to server 2, the third request will be forwarded to server 3, and then the fourth request, assuming we have 3 servers, fourth request will be given to server 1, and fifth request will be forwarded to server 2. This is the default load balancing technique, right? And you can see that one, whether the one what I'm talking about, the load balancing, is the default method or not. We can check it out on our servers as well. Let's go ahead and check it out. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let me connect once again. Let's see what is going on. See, if you go and check my LTM, and then you can see that the pools, check it out, what all the pool members are available, right? So these are all the pool members. You can see them, the members, the 3 members are there. Can you see something called as the load balancing method as a round robin? Did I configure anywhere that this is the load balancing methodology I want? No, I didn't do that. So this is the default configuration. So LTM is going to be choosing round robin as the default method of distributing the load across multiple servers. Is that clear? Till this point is clear? Okay, am I audible, guys? I'm not sure. Okay, fine. So if you see this load balancing method, you can see different types of load balancing techniques. Now, each and every technique is meant for certain specific functionalities, and some specific reasons are there why we have to go for it. So a couple of them I will explain you, and couple of them I'm going to be giving you guys as a homework to understand, and later on you're going to be explaining me that, okay, each and every one is going to be talking about a specific load balancing technique. We will see how you're explaining. If not, I'll be explaining, don't worry. So anyway, if I start explaining everything at once, again that might be a little bit of confusing. A couple of load balancing techniques I will explain today, and then I'll give you some task with respect to understanding these load balancing methodologies, and then you can also prepare on your own, then get back to me. If those are correct, then it is okay, and if any additional details are required, I'm there to help you guys. So these load balancing techniques are categorized into 2. First of all, one is called as a static load balancing, and the other one is called as what? Dynamic load balancing techniques. The static load balancing is the technique with which an administrator is going to be saying that how you have to do the load balancing. Say what? First packet goes here, second packet goes there, and third packet goes the third server. The problem with your static load balancing is the performance of the servers are not at all going to be known to the LTM device. See, probably when you have multiple connections, let's say, I'm going back to my whiteboard once again. I have multiple servers, let's assume like this. So LTM is the device we have, and the default method of round robin technique is a load balancing mechanism which is being used. Now I have 3 servers here. The 3 servers, let me say connection number 1 will go to the server number 1, connection number 2 goes to the server number 2, and connection number 3 goes to the server number 3. Okay. Now connection number 4 will be given to server 1, connection 5 will be given to server 2, and then connection 6 will be, this is how equally the connections are going to be sent and received. You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Hello? Okay. Now the point what we need to understand here is not each and every connection to the service is going to be having equal lifetime. I have a user 1 and user 2 and user 3. Multiple users are there, and this guy is keep on connecting to a portal, and he will be disconnecting the connection very shortly. So a couple of minutes he is keeping the connection and disconnecting it, and this guy is going to be keeping it for 5 minutes, and this guy is going to be keeping it for 10 minutes. Let's assume like this. So this guy is disconnecting the connection every 1 minute. Now what happens when the connections are being forwarded to this guy, the server 1, and it's a shorter connections, server 2, it's a medium size, what is it, the duration of the connection is going to be not as short, whereas the connection number 3, which is being given to the server 3, and it is going to be holding there for 10 minutes. This is 1 minute connections are being forwarded here, assuming that user 1 is initiating the first connection, user 2 is initiating the second connection, and user 3 is initiating a third connection. So the connection over here is 1 minute length, and here it's a 5 minute duration, whereas here 10 minutes duration. Now what happens at the end of 6 or 7 minutes, you can see that means continuously they're initiating a connection. There wouldn't be any connection live here because the duration of the connection is 1 minute only. Then what would be the load over here? Very limited. There wouldn't be any load. Whereas here you might be having 4 connections over here. Here still you will be having all 6 connections. You understand what I'm trying to say? So when I do static load balancing, the performance of these routers, performance of these servers are not at all going to be taken into the consideration for distributing the load. Though it is not inefficient, but this is also one of the mechanisms we still use as a load balancing mechanism. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is that clear? Static load balancing technique will not, means the round robin technique is not going to be looking into the performance of the devices, performance of the servers into the consideration. First connection, I'll send it to the first server. That's it. My job is over. What is the duration of the connection? How much load it is going to be consuming? I least bothered about it. My responsibility, it is first connection, I'm giving it to the first server. Second connection, giving it to the second server. Whether during this time, I least bothered whether the connection what I have given to the server 1 is up and running or not. I don't bother about it. Simply, I will forward the first connection to the first server, second connection to the second server, third connection to the third server. This is how this is going to be happening. You understand? Round robin is what is this. Now, see, while you are trying to make the cluster, configuring the cluster, okay? Now, the configuring the cluster, I kept some 2 servers or 3 servers. As the business is growing, I'm going to be adding couple of servers more. Am I audible? I think I got disconnected. Huh? No, I'm available only. Yeah, I'm audible. I hope I'm audible. See, during the formation of the cluster, first time I just bought 3 servers, and those 3 servers have been added as part of my pool. These 3 are pool members. Over a period of time, we feel that with the 3 servers, we will not be able to complete, or we will not be able to handle the complete load because the number of requests are getting increased. By that time, we are planning to go for 2 more servers. You understand? Now, tell me the point. The first time when we bought the server, the model number, and the second time need to be the same, or it can be different? Can be different, right? Do we have to have the same model always to be purchased? It can be different. It can also be the same. But my point is, even if the configurations are same, but this is a new server and this is an old server, obviously performance on the new server will be better compared to the old server. So this is almost like 2 years got over, and this is the new server. Probably I will get only the new model, not the same model. Even if I'm getting the same model, that servers are going to be performed better, even though the configurations are identical as like my old server. Now in this case, do you think that distributing the connections equally to each and every server is going to be ideal? Is this the right way of doing it? May not be. Then one more case. Now we had a physical servers here. Now I'm just planning to go for a couple of virtual servers also. The VM machines I'm creating it. Now, maybe I could over provision the resources, or I might be under provisioning the resources. It purely depends. Whereas, let me take this is going to be a 64 GB of RAM and this is going to be a 16 GB of RAM. I could have done that one. But my point is, when the servers are not equally capable of handling the loads, how do you distribute the loads equally? When you say load balancing, equally you are going to be distributing the load. When the servers are not capable of handling that much amount of load, what is the benefit of distributing the loads equally to all the servers? Is that the right way of doing it? Obviously, no. So that's where one more technique we got introduced, which is called as ratio based. Sorry. Which is called as what? Ratio based. Round robin is clear, right? Is there any clarification is required with respect to round robin? Now I'm just getting into ratio. Before that, if you have any questions with respect to round robin, please ask me. Now let's take 3 servers here. This is where I have my LTM. Sorry. Let's put it here so that it will be easy. Connection 1, connection 2, connection 3, 4, 5, 6. This is how it will go equally. Okay, this is how it will go. When it comes to ratio, I have my LTM device, and this LTM is going to be connecting to multiple servers depending on the number of servers I have. Now what I can do is, depending on their capacity and depending on their performance, statically I can say that go for the ratios like what? Let's say this is going to be 2, 4, 6, 10 and 10. Let me do like this. This is the ratio I'm configuring on those devices, on those servers. The meaning of this is, for every 2 connections on server 1, 4 connections on server 2 needs to be associated, and 6 connections towards server 3 needs to be given, and 10 connections towards server 4 and server 5 needs to be given. This is the logic behind it. For every 2 connections of server 1, the LTM forwards, 4 connections needs to be forwarded to server 2, 6 connections needs to be forwarded to server 3, and 10 connections needs to be forwarded to server 4 and 5. Now what I'm trying to do here is, let me take a case like the first connection comes here. LTM receives the first connection. To whom? Let's assume server 1 receives it, server 2, server 3, server 4, server 5. It looks like a round robin, right? Yes, it is looking like a round robin. Now, the 6th connection will come to the server 1, 7th will come here, 8th will come here, 9th will come here, and 10th will come here. Now 11th connection, to which of the server it will be sent? Do you think it will be sent to server 1? Obviously no, because we had the discussion, for every 2 connections of server 1, there must be 4 connections to server 2, 6 connections to server 3, 10 connection to server 4 and 5. Now in this case, what happens is, 11 will be sent to, what is that called? Server 2, 11th connection, 12 will go here, 13 will go here, 14 will go here. Then 15, 16, 17, 18. Now, give me a minute. Okay, anyway, I'll disconnect and connect so that it will be responsive, right? I'm just stopping the share and resharing the screen. Is that clear now? Is that visible now? Okay. Now see here, the maximum connections which we have agreed over here is 2. For every 2 connections here, we have to you have to send 4 connections here. That is done. Now 6 connection needs to be given here. Do you think it is happening? No, still it is pending. 10 needs to be sent, 10 and 10 here needs to be given here. How we are going to be managing it now? The further connections like 17th is 18th, after 18th, 19th will come here. Okay, sorry. 19th will come here, 20th here, 21 here, then 22. In this we are completing 6 connections, and then 23 and 24, 25 and 26. Like this it will go. So once the 4th and 5th server received 10 connections, then the next connection will come to the server number 1. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so this is what we typically call it as a ratio. We will see this. I don't understand what you're asking. No. Huh. Uh, it's not Q. No, 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 no. Don't use the wrong word here. It's not Q. Right? We are not talking about the queue. The connections are being for every two connection. I think you are not listening. For every two, I think you are distracted. You are in office, right? Okay. See, what I'm trying to mean it is for every two connection, underline that word, every. For every two connections given to server number 1, 4 connections will be forwarded to server number 2, 6 connections will be forwarded to server number 3, 10 connections will be forwarded to 5 and 6. Which means what? One cycle will be over when 2, 4, 6, 10 gets over. Then the new connection will come after all this filled up. New connection comes in. By that time, that new connection will be given to server 1. Again, this cycle starts. It's a cycle, okay? So the same thing I said even before I started. For every, I didn't say it's a limit, it's a ratio. Limit is different, ratio is different. Connection limit is also there, that is also a parameter. But here we are focusing only on ratios. We will see that one practically. Now I'm coming here. Now go to the client PC, the Windows client machine. Then you will also statistics. Okay, I'm just talking about the traffic, local traffic. Okay. Okay, just going to the statistics, traffic summary, general. Okay, right. So I'm interested in only on this particular part. Now I'm just going to be giving you a demonstration over here. I just turned on PSSW0RD and the next exclamatory symbol. Okay. Now let's open up a fresh connection over here. There's a new connection we are trying to initiate to 1.1.1.1. Hope you're visible, right? The screen is visible, right? You're able to see my screen, right? 1.1.1.1 I'm requesting. The request has been forwarded to one of the server, right? Which is yellow. Now when I refresh, it is going to green. When I refresh, it is going to blue. When I refresh, it is going to yellow. When I refresh, it is going to green. When I refresh, it is going to blue. What is the method we are using it? Round robin, correct? Round robin, right? So that is what the first default method we were talking about. One by one, it will be forwarded. Now the next thing what I'm trying to do here, I'm getting into the configuration part and then going to the pool. Sorry, going to the pools. And then this is the pool I have it. Now the members, when I see this one, I'm just changing from round robin to ratio. Forget about the member and the node, that I will come to that later. There is something called as a ratio. This is what we were talking about. Ratio is what I have chosen. This is over, right? We have chosen the, what is it called? Ratio. Now, if I go back to my client PC and then try to access, can I see the difference? See, I'm just trying to refresh, going to yellow, then going to green, and then it goes to blue, then it goes to yellow. Am I seeing any changes in that ratios? No. But why this could be possible? Did you notice that? What would be the problem? So one thing what we need to remember is every change I do, I have to update. That is point number 1. So I'm just updating it. So if without changing it, let me say round robin is what I have chosen, and then going back to somewhere like checking the policy and then coming to the pool, check it out. Still it is using the ratio only. See, until unless I choose something and update something, it is not going to be happening at all. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to choose the load balancing method first, and then you have to update it. Only then the configurations are getting updated. This is point number one. But still you don't see the difference. That's a different story. I'll come to that. Now see what happens now. So I have updated this one. Because of that, if I go to a different section and come back to the pools, check it out. What is the method? It is ratio based. We know that is ratio based now. But still, if I go to this client PC and then trying to access now, green, then when I refresh, blue, then I refresh, I'll get it to yellow. Which means what? Still it is doing round robin only. Am I right? You see this one? It is doing round robin only. Equally the load is being given. The connections are being forwarded to every server. Why is that? Because by default, if you see the ratio, it is 1. Can you see them? The default ratio is associated as what? 1. Now, let me change it this one. For blue, I would like to set the ratio as 2. Okay? Update. Of course, don't forget to update. Now again, I'm going to the members. See here, the ratio got changed now to 2. Now this one, let me call it as a 4. Then go back to your members, check it out, 4 is there. Here, let's call this as a 6. Now the ratio has been changed now. Let's check it out. For every 2 connections of blue, 4 and 6 connections to green and yellow server needs to be given. Agreed? Now let's go to this. I need to, sorry. Okay, anyway. Okay, fine. Now what I'm trying to do is, I'm just getting into, now as of now there are certain things, I'm just clearing this. If you wanted to clear it, you can clear it. Reset it. You can see that the traffic is going to be cleared. Right? There is nothing. Okay. Now I'm going to my browser, then check it out. If I refresh, and this is going to be considered as a new connection, to which of the server it will be sent to? Blue, green, yellow, blue, green. See, is that coming? The blue is coming now. You can see the difference, right? Not every time it is going to the blue. Earlier, for every time I click, it will be going only to first connection was given to first server, second connection was given to second server, third connection was given to the third server. Do you agree? That's how we were seeing it. Now, the frequency is not going to be the same thing. So, we have given blue as 2, green as 4, and yellow as 6. Am I right? That's what we have done. It's going to this. So this is what we have done. For every 2 blue connections, 4 green and 6 yellow needs to be given. So 2 is over. That means for first will come here, second will come here, third will come here, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. That means yellow you will get more of load. Am I right? That's how this is going to be working. Let's close the connection if you want. Let's close it. Then we will open up a new session. And then 1.1.1.1, just calling it, because still the connection tables are being maintained. I got into the green. It's supposed to be going to blue, right? So first refresh goes to the yellow, second refresh yellow, third refresh comes to green, not blue. Now it is going to yellow. You see that one, 4 connections are given to green now. Now yellow, yellow. Now it goes to the blue. Can you see that? Guys, is that visible for you or not? So this is how you have to explore each and every, what is it called, the load balancing options which are available. But you cannot test everything in your lab environment, because only these two are static load balancing techniques. The rest of them are going to be considered as the dynamic load balancing techniques. Dynamic load balancing technique require a lot of information with which it can intelligently choose one of the server to which the request is going to be forwarded out. Is that clear? Do you understand what I'm saying? Again, in ratio, you have dynamic ratio, you also have a weighted ratio. There are a couple of things are there. See, weighted least connections are there. So ratio least connections are there. Simple ratio session based is there. You have a couple of methods. Can you see this dynamic ratio is there? A variety of techniques are there. But each and every is going to be working in a little bit different manner. You need to know the differentiation of each and every load balancing technique, so that you will be able to use an appropriate method for the application that is being managed through your LTM device. There is one more topic I have to complete today. Just give me 2-3 minutes. I'll finish that one. Okay. Till this point is clear? Huh? Any questions? Oh, okay. Fine. Now what I'm going to be doing is, see, based on what parameter or based on what data we will decide we need to have 2 servers or 3 servers, based on the demand analysis, right? So when I do the demand analysis, it will help me to plan the capacity. The capacity planning is going to be done. So according to my demand analysis, I understood that I need to have 1 server is more than enough for me, but still I'm keeping 2 servers, 1 for the redundancy purpose, 2 for the performance expectation. So I have 2 servers, server 1 and server 2. Now this is for application 1, okay? For application 2, there is one more application is there. For that also, I need to have 2 servers, server 1 and server 2. The worst case scenario would be what? Even if one of the server fails, the whole load can be handled by the remaining server. Am I right? That's the logic behind load balancing. Now my point is, at any point of time, I need to have 2 servers, only then the load can be managed properly. The same requirement for application 2 as well. So basically what we try to do, I would like to keep the server 3. I would like to reserve one more server for application 1 and one more server for application, application 2. In this case, I have this 3 only as a backup if any one of the members of my application 1 server fails. The same way, application 2 is also, if the server number 3 is going to be used when only server 1 and server 2 fail, any one of the server fails, only then I wanted to have this server number 3 to be inserted to handle the load. When that comes back, probably I may need to come back. That's a different story. But in this case, do I have to invest a lot of money for having 2 different servers which are going to be kept as an idle? Because the current load, the 2 servers itself is huge. I'm just taking a small scenario, okay? So larger scenario, it will be a little different. Now, what I'm trying to do here is I have 2 servers, which is more than enough. The current load is not at all going to be requiring 2 servers, but still I'm planning to have the 3rd server as a backup server. If any one of the server fails, the 3rd server needs to be turned on. Only then it has to come and start serving the customers. Same way, the application 2 also the same requirement. I would like to have one of the server as a backup. I don't want it to waste the money in investing 2 different servers, which is simply going to be used as a backup server. Now what I do is, I have a node 1. I have installed the application 1 on it. Node 2, I have installed application 1 on it. And then the node 3, application 1 installed on it, so that I can call it an app. Am I audible, guys, for you? Okay, I think the screen is not visible for. Yes. I'm just. Okay, is that visible now? So what I'm trying to do is I'm keeping three different servers, server 1, server 2 and then server 3 for application 1s. I hope my screen is visible now. You're able to see it. Is that true? Okay, server number 4 or node 4, I would like to keep it as what? Application 2 is being hosted. Node number 5, application 2 is being installed. Same way, node number 6, we are going to be installing application 2. This is how we have to do it. But what I am trying to do is, I'm just going to be creating a node X. Let me put it as a node X. So node X, I'm going to be installing with application 1 and application 2. Okay. Both the applications are installed in this node, and this is being referred in pool 1 as well as in pool 2. Pool 1's perspective, application 1 is referred. Pool 2's perspective, application 2 is referred. Is that clear? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If I can do this one, I can eliminate a separate node for application 1 and application 2. Do you understand what I'm trying to explain here? So instead of reserving a dedicated node for pool 1 and dedicated node for pool 2, I'm having a new node. On that node, both the application got installed. This is a web server as well as an FTP server. You understand what I'm saying? So the web server is being identified as a member in pool 1. FTP server is being identified as a pool 2. Hello? Am I audible? Is this clear or you want to clarify anything? Okay. Now the point is, because this, what is it called, node X is going to be considered as a backup, I wanted to configure the pool in such a way that when any one of the member fails, only then this guy has to come and start serving the clients. If one means, assuming that node 1 is member 1 is running, member 2 is failed, then member 3 will come into picture. Same way, when member 1 fails but member 2 is running, still the backup server is going to be added into it. I wanted to achieve this one. So that is where the priority group activation comes into picture. What is that called? Priority group activation. How we will do this one? Let's see here. See, for everyone, can you see this something called as a priority group activation? I can also configure something called as what? Priority group. By default, they have been associated with 0. You see this one? 0, 0, 0, 0. That means nobody is part of it. Now what I would like to do is, I would like to configure the priority groups for each and every server. Now I'm just getting into this, and then I'm just giving the priority group as what? Let me say this is going to be 5. You can give any number. Higher the number, higher the priority. Now here, let me call this as 6. Sorry, priority as 6. Then there is one more server. You can give the same number for multiple servers. Since I have to explain something, I'm just coming up with different numbers. 5, 6, 7. That's the, 5, 6, 7. Now what happens? There are members. The priority group is 5, 6 and 7. Now the priority group activation is going to be done, say less than, say 2. I'm just giving 2. I'm saying that at a minimum, at any single point of time, you should have 2 members. But in that pool, I have 3 members. Okay, I update this one. Basically, what happens when you go for this, when you're going for priority group activation, I'm saying that one, you have to balance the load across all of the servers until you have 2 servers. When you don't have 2 servers to handle the load, only then you have to pick up the other server. But the question is, which servers are going to be added into it? That is where the priority groups come into picture. Whichever the set of devices are having a highest priority number, and they are going to be added into the load balancing technique. Guys, you understand or not? Please let me know. Seems no one is responding, which means nobody understood this. Can I say that? Or can I take it like that? Okay. Let me finish first and then you will ask, or you want to ask now? You can ask now also. Okay. Now, the server 1, we gave the priority of 5, and server 2, we gave the member 2, we gave the priority of 6, and member 3, we gave the priority of 7. When it comes to the priority group activation for this tool is activated, and minimum we should have 2 members at any point of time. Now what happens, the server, the LTM, when receives the front end request, it needs to be forwarded the request to the backend server, to which of the member it is going to be chosen. So we need to have 2 members within which minimum, this minimum, okay, minimum 2 members should be there. So which 2 members are going to be chosen? Any members with the highest priority. So member 1 has the priority of 7, so I'm including him as part of the load balancing. I need to have one more. In that case, I'm taking server number 2, the member number 2 also, for balancing the load. Now server 5, do you think that he will be added into the balancing technique now? Obviously no. So you have to modify the priority group in such a way that only the main members are going to be handling the request, whereas the backup member will not be receiving any of the requests until any of the member fails. Now as long as server 2 and 3 up and running, server 5 is not at all going to be used for forwarding the request. At any point of time, assume that this fails. Now the minimum requirement is what? 2. Because of that, this guy will also come into picture for the balancing the load. Is that clear? Okay, one more point now. I'm just taking a simple, one more scenario here. Let's assume that I have multiple servers. Let's say server 1, 2, 3. Let's assume like that. Three servers I'm taking it. And these 3 servers have a priority group of 5. And these 3 servers are having a priority group of 6. And these 3 servers are having priority group of 7. And we still have the priority group activation less than 2. The same condition remains. Now, meaning what? We need to have a minimum of 2 servers, minimum, underline that keyword, minimum of 2 servers to balance the load across the members. Now the request is coming in. To which of the members that request is going to be forwarded to? We have 3 servers with priority of 7. So all these 3 servers are going to be used for handling the load. That's why I said it is less than 2. Okay, so a minimum of 2 servers should be there. If you have more than 2 servers, it is not a problem at all. So we are saying that at a minimum 2 members, you have to distribute the load. If you have more members in your group, there is no problem at all. According to the priority group activation, now what happens is I am choosing only the set of servers who have associated with the priority group of 7, which is considered as the highest in value. All 3 servers will be balanced. The load is going to be balanced. Now my point is, if any one of the server within this priority group number 7 failed, do you think anyone else will be called? No, because the condition says as long as you have 2 members, you don't need to worry about it. What if one more member fails? Now what will happen? Can you please tell me what is that going to be happening in this case now? So one more member got failed. Okay. One more member got failed. Means we have only one member, but the priority group says, I don't know what is going on. So one more member got failed. Now what happens? According to the priority group activation, we should have minimum of 2 members. I have only one member now. I need to call any of these guys. Whom I will be calling. So one set of servers are having a priority group of 5. Another set of members are having a priority group of 6. Correct? Whom I will be calling? Which member of 6 I am going to be calling? I understand, Ma. You have 3 servers who have been configured with a priority of 6. Correct? Which member of priority group 6 is going to be referred into your current load balancing technique? I have only one server in priority group 7. 2 servers got failed. Only one is active. I need to call at least one server from the other groups. At least, keep that in mind. So when I'm trying to call the other members, what I'm trying to do is, I'm just looking into any member who is having better priority group. Yes, there are members who have priority group of 6. I will call everyone into the group for the balancing the load. You understand what I'm saying? So already I have one member from priority group 7. Now I have 3 members from group number 6. All 4 will be used for balancing the load. This is called priority group activation. Is that clear? Okay. I think it's good for me to stop here. What you are going to be doing is, you have to identify, log into your LTM device and identify what is your management interface IP, what is your internal network IP, and what is your external VLAN IP. Identify them and then map it to the diagram which I'll forward now. Let me stop the screen, then I will forward that. You guys, can you see a PDF file I have shared to you? Okay. Now what is that you have to do is, there are 3 NIC cards: external, internal and private. Okay. Now you just need to identify which interface is connecting to external network and which interface is connecting to your internal network and which interface is connecting to your radius, means your Active Directory. Okay. Modify this one. People, whomever has activated the device, who is still pending with that work? How many of you have activated by having the license key? Hello? Your PC, eh? Okay. What is the username you are using? The given user. Good. Okay, that's the username given to you, right? Wait a minute. Let me check it out. Are you using U or Gurcharan? GURCHARAN, right? Okay, let me check with the team. Okay, give me a minute. I'm just talking to you. Any other issues or you guys are facing? Do let me know so that accordingly